Hi, one of my pupils recently got this guitar, which is an Epiphone Noel Gallagher signature model Riviera. It's a lovely guitar, and this is virtually brand new. I think it's only like a couple of weeks old. He wanted me to demo it and do a review of it, which I've done, but also was interested to see what I thought of the comparison between this and my old Gibson 335. Now, these are obviously similar guitars. They've both got the solid block through the middle with hollow bits either side, and they're both Gibson type semi-acoustic, so they're very similar guitars. But the comparison's not that fair, because one of my only criticisms of this guitar when I reviewed it was that it feels very new and it needs playing in. And I think in a few months' time, or certainly in a few years' time, this is going to be really, really nice. Whereas at the moment, it is very nice, but it feels a little bit too new to me. Whereas this is a 1987 model, and I've had it since about a year after that. And yeah, this has been played a lot, and this doesn't feel like a new guitar at all. So that's in this one's favour, so it's a little bit unfair comparing them, but I'm going to do it anyway. Picking them up, the Gibson's a bit heavier. Not a lot, but it definitely is heavier. I haven't weighed them, but just holding them like this, yeah, actually it is quite a bit heavier. Other than that, the Epiphone's got this lovely glossy finish to the back of the neck, which is really nice, very, very smooth. The Gibson, it's because it's quite old now and it's been played a lot. I mean, you can see the back of the neck's kind of got some wear to it. So it feels quite smooth anyway, but it feels very different to this one. This one, I think, is nicer, if anything. The Epiphone, it's got this lovely glossy finish that's very, very smooth. Anyway, I'm going to plug them in, and actually before I do, let's hear them acoustically, see how they compare. Now, they've probably got different strings on them. Well, they have got different strings on them. These ones, those are kind of very new feeling. These ones, they're not old, but they could probably do with changing in a few weeks' time. So yeah, they might not have quite as much brightness as they would have done when they were brand new. But anyway, I'll just play a couple of chords, we'll compare. Just using the camera's mic for that. Kind of similar brightness. I mean, this one rings out as well as the Gibson. The Gibson's got a bit more depth to it. You might not be able to tell on the video, but in the room, the Gibsons, yeah, they're just definitely more kind of warmth to the sound. But you know, again, I don't know how the woods sort of change and affect the sound with age. But I think if this one was as old as that one, I think there'd be less difference. So yeah, in terms of like the build quality of this and the basic kind of playability and everything, it's very similar. Yeah, the setup on this could be adjusted and it could probably play as well. It doesn't quite play as well as that one at the moment, but I'm sure it probably could do. So yeah, I've been impressed with this. Anyway, I'm going to plug them both in and see how this sounds compared to the benchmark, which is the 335. Okay, I was just hearing that through the headphones as I was playing. I haven't actually listened back to what I just did yet, obviously. So when I do, I might have more opinions on it. But yeah, overall, the Gibson sounded better, I thought, but that's kind of what you'd expect. I think the age of the Gibson comes into all of this a little bit. It certainly comes into it affects how it feels. But it probably affects the tone as well, I should imagine. And it is a good one, you know. It's not just any old 335 I've just grabbed off the shelf. It's one I've had for a long time, and it is a really nice one. So this one, you know, held its own pretty well, I thought. The biggest difference for me, anyway, just listening to it then as I did it, was on the bridge pickup with the slightly heavier sound on the vintage channel on the AMP1, so like a Marshally kind of sound. And I thought on the bridge pickup the Gibson did sound quite a bit better. On the neck pickup, this one had a little bit more clarity, and it was just as good really, but it had a slightly different sound. But I thought it sounded really nice. I didn't play around too much with the in-between setting on the two pickups, but yeah, as I said at the beginning, bit of an unfair comparison in a way, just mainly because of the age of the guitars. This one definitely has still got that new feel to it. But for the difference in price, you know, is the Gibson that much better? So you can justify how much more one of those would cost. And would a brand new, you know, it'd be interesting to compare a brand new Gibson 335 to this guitar, because I think my opinion would be very different then. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got one here, but that would be a more accurate sort of comparison and a fairer one for this guitar. I don't think there'd be a huge difference. I think the Gibson might have the edge, but if you had a brand new one and compared it to this, I think you'd be surprised at how good this one sounds and feels compared to a new Gibson. I certainly can't fault the finish on this guitar. I've mentioned that a few times, but it is really, really good. The finish is spot on with it. It's perfect. So this guitar just needs playing a lot, and hopefully that's what's going to happen to it. Well, I know that it is. So yeah, that's my old 87 Gibson 335, comparing it to the Epiphone Noel Gallagher signature model Riviera. Okay, thanks for watching.